Hello and welcome to another week of climbing and training with me. So today I'm going to go bouldering and just get on some stuff that I've either not yet done before or not yet sent. I did see a pelvic floor physio last week, which was really reassuring. She did remind me though that my body is still recovering. My hormones are still out of whack, out of balance, and I am more prone to injury. My joints are not as lubricated, so it does explain why I've been feeling a bit sort of niggly and kind of sore in my joints lately. So that was a good reminder, and it was really worth going to just make sure everything's in check. Training wise has been going really good. I've had a lot of people ask me, like, do I feel like I'm back to where I was kind of pre-pregnancy? Definitely no. I'm still a long way to go in terms of my level of climbing, but also my confidence mentally, getting used to being able to fall again, and feel like I can push it a little bit more. So definitely not back to where I was, but I'm taking steps every week to kind of get back there and hopefully surpass that level. So anyway, let's go bouldering and yeah, let's have fun.
Okay, so I asked on my Instagram if you had any questions to ask me, and I was going to answer them throughout this video while you're watching my climbing session. So here we go. Tips for increasing finger strength. I'm currently at around 7A, which is around 24-25 for those Australian and New Zealand viewers, and how to pass that plateau with finger strengthening. So with fingers, it really depends, I think, how long you've been climbing for, your intensity during your sessions throughout the week, your climbing goals, and any current or previous injuries you may have had from climbing, especially in the fingers. So what I usually plan for finger strengthening is to do a round of foundational strengthening first, where we're focusing on tendon and pulley health, rather than just going sort of max training. So what this might look like would be hanging, say, on the 20mm edges, just body weight for 20 seconds, and doing this for about 5 to 6 hangs with 2 minutes rest. If this becomes sort of easier after a couple of weeks of consistency, maybe doing this 2 or 3 times a week, then you might look at increasing the intensity, so maybe adding a bit of weight to you, or making the edge size smaller and going for about 10 seconds, and then repeat this protocol, reassess in a couple of weeks, maybe about a month, and then go for about 5 to 7 seconds, increase the intensity again. This is like obviously very generic, vague information. It really depends on you as a climber, where you're at, and feel free to message me if you want a bit more information. Okay, next question. What are some tips for helping high heel hook moves? Okay, so there's a couple of things that you need to work on for high heel hook moves. So first off would be your flexibility and mobility, mainly through your hips and your knees. And then the second part would be working on your power and strength, mostly through your glutes and hamstrings, because those are the ones that do the pulling power required for high heel hook moves, or well, all heel hook moves, okay? So I'll be looking at adding in some stretches, some flexibility training. You've got to be consistent with this. There's no point just holding a stretch for 5 seconds, moving on. You've got to be holding them for about 30 seconds to actually get any benefit. And then also doing some sort of strengthening exercise for glutes and hamstrings. So high step ups, maybe some hamstring curls or Swiss ball curls or glute bridges. They're a good start. Okay, next question. What keeps me motivated? I think the main thing that keeps me motivated is that I enjoy seeing progress and accomplishing something that I thought was maybe impossible or really difficult previously. So that feeling of like, wow, I actually managed to get this move, or wow, I managed to get this climb, when before succeeding it felt really difficult and I had to actually work towards it and be intentional with my training. For me, that's really rewarding and fulfilling. Next question. What has been your most memorable accomplishment in climbing? So One sort of moment I always go back to is in 2019. I competed in the National Climbing Combined competition, which was in Tauranga, and it was the event to get into the Olympic qualifiers for the following year. For the first time ever, I had set myself a goal that I wanted to win this competition. Previous to that, all these other comps, I kind of just enter and I kind of just go, I'll see how I go. I'm happy with whatever result. And I always had kind of a vague outcome I wanted. But this was the first time that I actually wrote down in my notebook, I want to become the National Climbing Combined Champion in 2019. And by actually succeeding this goal, it felt super rewarding because it's something that I worked towards and was really intentional with my training. And I remember writing down every single little thing that I did to get me closer to this goal. And so it just meant when I actually won this competition, it felt so much better. It did mean the following year, I went to Australia to compete at the Olympic qualifiers in Sydney, and so that was an amazing opportunity in itself. And so that's probably one of my most kind of proud moments in climbing. Okay, next question. Where has been your favourite places in the world to climb? So I live in New Zealand. I used to live in Christchurch, and just an hour's drive away was Castle Hill, which is a beautiful place with limestone boulders, also some route climbing as well. I would say that's a really special place for me because it's like one of the first places I ever went outdoor climbing. I've built many memories there. It's a beautiful place just to be and hang out with, a group of friends, and it'll be kind of every couple of weekends I'll be there. So that place has always kind of been special to me. Outside of New Zealand, two places kind of stand out, and that would be Norway and Canada. Which was a few years now, but I remember just really enjoying the climbing there and just having really great days out. Last year I went to Australia and climbed in the Blue Mountains for the first time, and that was just absolutely stunning as well, and really good memories there too. So those would be kind of my top 4 places. Okay, let's do one more question. How many times do you recommend I climb every week? So this is a tough question because I don't know exactly, where you're at as a climber. So there's a couple things you have to kind of think about. So it depends on what else you do in your week. So is it just climbing, or do you also do another sport or train for something else? So you want to make sure you're not overloading your body by doing too much. You also want to think, well, what intensity are you doing for these sessions? Is it shorter sessions, just an hour max, or are you there at the gym for 3 or 4 hours working pretty hard and intense? Okay, so you want to factor that in as well. And also, how long have you been climbing for? So you want to think, how experienced are you? How used to climbing is your body and your muscles and your tendons and joints and everything, so that you're making sure you're not overloading too much. But also you want to think, well, if I don't overload enough, I'm not going to get any progression. So as a standard, I would say aim for 2, maybe 3 climbing sessions a week. If you're also doing some other sports or other training on top of that, I would probably drop that down to 1 to 2. Okay, so it totally depends. Once again, this is a tricky one to answer, so feel free to message me or comment if you want a bit more clarity on that. Okay, that's all the questions I'll answer for today's video. At the moment you're just seeing me on a couple of moonboard problems, which I was pretty stoked to have gotten because these were ones that I haven't tried before, and I'm kind of slowly working back up to kind of the grade that I was working on previous to pregnancy, which is exciting. This is all for the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you next week.